In Britain today, farming is changing. Deep in Somerset, Rob and Jeremy are two neighbouring tenancy farmers who have been working together for over 20 years.
Our ultimate ambition is to go back to old practices but with modern technology.
The regen journey we're on, it gives us a lot more flexibility and we can sort of adapt to the climate to a certain extent.
Now they face their biggest challenge. They're taking on a huge new swathe of land, some of which sorely needs regenerating.
Oh, it's very wet, that's for sure.
Can their sustainable practices restore the land and make it profitable?
This could transform agriculture significantly.
Over the next year, we'll be following their innovative approaches to challenges across soil, animals, water, biodiversity, and the future, relying on expert help and each other as they make a difference by farming smarter. Autumn in Stratton-on-the-Foss. Farmers face a changing climate, raising prices and shifting policies, which require farmers to change too. The extremely wet weather this season has made this the toughest year Rob and Jeremy have ever faced.
Oh yeah, isn't it great? Liquid sunshine, I think, isn't it?
They share equipment, staff, and over 200 fields. Rob has a flock of sheep, and Jeremy a herd of beef cattle, and both produce arable crops like cereals, legumes, and more. They also share a passion for education and the community. Their journey together started with a common need.
Back in 2000, we both sold dairy herds and we began to toy with the concept of sharing a piece of machinery because we found we can work together really well. So we've been working together now for just over 20 years, actually.
24 years.
24 years.
We ought to have a party next
We
year,
did,
didn't
we did, yeah.
Do you know what, that's almost as long as I've been married.
It's longer than I've been married.
Their successful partnership and sustainable practices have made them an attractive pairing to a landowner in nearby Mills, who recently awarded them a joint contract. And today, they're off to meet him and inspect the land.
Quite muddy.
Yeah, a little bit. Good to see you.
How are you?
Yeah, you will?
Yeah, very well. So back in Somme, it's Froome clay, got ploughed up, which it shouldn't have done 10 years ago, and turned into a real mess. What we're trying to do at the moment is bring that back to health. You guys have sown some cover crop, and we've got the winter rains coming in already.
It was an 8 species cover crop with some deep rooting because, you know, we would imagine we can have a dig around in a minute, but we would imagine it's quite compacted.
The reason we're here is how to deal with weather, which is worse than it's even been in the past. And that creates big problems in terms of runoff, both of topsoil and chemicals.
That is valuable nutrients that are just being washed out of the topsoil. And that, as farmers, we don't want that to happen because we've got to replace them somewhere along the line.
And there are two key metrics, really. One is that we get a really good amount of worms per spade. And the second thing is that we don't get the winter flooding.
Rob and Jeremy are joined by Emma, a soil biology expert.
Hi guys, nice to
Hi,
meet
Emma.
you.
Good to see you.
Hi Emma, nice to see you. Thanks for coming out.
Good. Shall we have a look at this soil then?
Yeah, go for it.
We've taken this farm on. This one has got some inherent flooding issues.
Oh, it's very wet, that's for sure.
So we thought what we'd do is plant a cover crop.
This grey colour you can see is a sign of like anaerobic and glaying in the soil, and that's telling us that the soil isn't breathing. And then normally we'd expect quite a range of worms, and I think I did see one, but he's very small. I think it's a good sign that we're starting to see some biology coming back.
So is it a good start what we're doing?
Yes, so I would definitely start with a companion crop. Diversity is so key in getting the microbiome kick-started. I'd get the organic matter up so it has something to eat, and low cultivation. I think looking at something like an intercrop where you've got maybe a cereal mixed with something else like a legume, and that way we're kick-starting the cycles and getting different communities growing in the area.
We've done companion cropping but not intercropping, so that actually would be quite exciting, quite interesting to look at as well for us. So we will be taking a slightly longer rotation approach which we've implemented at home already. Our ultimate ambition with farming is to go back to old practices but with modern technology.
So you could have old traditional hay meadows going on here, but then you could have some variable rate fertiliser being applied to arable crops over here.
Rob's brought a new tool with him, a soil compaction tester, to explore their theory on Som's condition.
It actually goes in quite easily.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Wow.
Wow, look at that. What does that tell you?
Can safely say it's not compacted, and compaction's not our issue.
It's interesting because when we came out and put a spade in the ground 2 or 3 months ago, I thought compaction was the issue, but it's so interesting seeing that.
It's about not having that aeration through the soil and the organic matter for that soil moisture to be stored into.
I mean, it's challenging land, isn't it? We want to get that into a place where it's in good heart again.
What sort of timescale do you think before this could be back into good health?
It's well within reason. Within 2 years you could probably get a nice grassland going on in this.
Right.
Back at Manor Farm, Jeremy takes Emma and his agronomist Steve to fields they've already been farming to benchmark best practices for their new land.
We use an agronomist basically because they've got that technical know-how. It's good to have that independent advice.
Don't you have time for another job?
No, I don't, no.
Do you want to take a scoop out, Jeremy, and we'll see what's showing?
Oh, look at that crumbling.
Yeah.
Have we got a worm? Look at him.
The thing I really like here, it's a little bit blocky, but the root penetration through it is great. That's what I'm looking to see from a soil physical point of view.
Straight away we've got a really good sign, 3 worms in such a small amount of area. So we can see there's lots of things moving on, living here.
And that's got a beautiful earthy smell. It's great, that's just how it should be.
Well, we have soil tested every 3 to 4 years. We're sort of benchmarking organic matter as well now.
And that allows us to build up these maps of the field so that we can treat the plants with exactly what they need.
Each field is rotation specific. The rotation could be as much as sort of 11 years. So it could be a wheat, a barley, a oilseed rape, a wheat, then a cover crop over winter, spring cereals, and then another couple of cereals. And where we can, we'll put herbal lays or red clover lays in.
Right, so let's have a quick look a bit deeper if we can get the probe through all this rock. So if I take the probe out of the soil, there's no resistance to the tip of the probe at all. Nice bit of previous crop debris just starting to degrade there, which is good to see. So I think it's just a useful lesson in just think soil all the time.
Absolutely.
Part of their success as custodians comes through data.
Soil, once it's gone. So we need to be custodians of what we have right now. Basically, you build up a map of nutrients over your whole farm, and then you're able to apply the correct nutrient to the right pocket of the field. The technology on the fertiliser spreader is incredible.
One of Rob and Jeremy's shared members of staff, Josh, heartily agrees.
So this is the fert spinner we got. The idea is the sensors and the shutter will work out the exact speed that this is dropping out and firing it, and work out where it's landing. Works out what speed I'm driving, and it'll pick up the wind, everything. So it'll change my lines, it'll change everything to make sure I am getting the full coverage. And everything gets brushed off, which is what you can see there, so there is nothing wasted at all.
Whereas the old method was to take several points around the field and you took an average and then you applied a blanket rate across the field.
And this, then you kind of realise what you've saved and what you've gained. That's why we invested a bit more in the sprayer.
When we took on the land, Walton Farm,
Yeah.
the first year we were applying about 16 tonne of compound fertiliser, and then obviously changed the rotation. We put sort of spring beans in the rotation, etc. And now we would probably only apply about less than 2 tonne of product. It's that significant a change. So once again, we're doing the right thing environmentally, but it's good on our pocket as well.
Yeah, this year has been a horrible harvest, set up by some really awful weather last autumn. It has an impact on what machinery we can look to replace, but it's the confidence. What if we have another harvest like that?
I've got all the spraying to do still for the pre-emergence, which really should be done by now. It's too windy now, and we got our own weather station saying we're going to get isolated thunderstorms today. Tomorrow we're expecting 17 mm of rain.
The severe weather has also created problems for Rob, which need to be promptly addressed.
This is actually one of our most productive fields. We've had a period of intense rainfall. So you can see we've dug a pilot hole because there was water rising just here. And what we discovered was that we presume they're Victorian drainage systems have got blocked up in this field somewhere. So we're going to do some work to reconnect these old drains to a new drainage system that we've put in. It's actually not good for the soil to be sat wet all the time. The top of the ground is now green with algae and mould. So whilst we're trying to look after the soil and to keep it in good health, there are factors external to what we do that we have no control over. There are things that we want to do, like reduce chemical use and reduce fertiliser use, because we know they have an impact on the world around. So if we can use technology to help us with that, so we're using drone technology to maybe target some of those chemicals to certain areas of the field rather than blanket spraying. We're also looking at technologies which could allow us to use light or hose. That's really old-fashioned, isn't it? Inter-row hose. We can go back to that. But now we've got the ability to use that alongside highly accurate GPS.
If you've got lots of sort of low ground pressure vehicles that are working autonomously, that would solve a lot of problems.
Back in Mells, Rob and Jeremy have decided to apply this innovative mindset and experiment on some new fields.
In this particular field is going into winter barley, and we're going to do a Humate trial. I think we're one of 3 farms in the UK trialling this at the moment. It could transform agriculture significantly. Humates are a form of humic and fulvic acid. If you take a typical soil, the humus content is anything between 2 to 8%. And by applying humates, you're actually adding a concentrated dose of up to about 80% of humus. So as a massive injection of biostimulants that actually are there for the crop that's being planted. It helps with infiltration and the reduction of inputs. In this particular field, we're going to do 50% reduction of all nutrients, so that's all fertilisers, all crop medicine, 65% in another plot on the field, and then 80%. And we've been told that the yield will not decrease. So very excited, because what this means for soil health going forward is that if we can reduce our reliance on fertilisers and obviously chemical inputs, that will be fantastic. We'll secure more carbon, we'll reduce our emissions significantly. It's not only saving money, but it's also doing environmental good.
But do the sums add up?
We are sort of midway through the agricultural transition. By 2027, there'll be no direct payments. And I know for some people that is a real concern. Integrated farm management, regenerative agriculture, well, that's the focus now. That it's all about, making sure that, you've got a sustainable future for you or your family. Taking the opportunity of capital grants, the countryside stewardship or the sustainable farming incentive, it is a no-brainer, quite frankly.
People often ask whether you can do both bottom lines, whether you can get a positive financial outcome and a positive environmental one. And I don't know, I've never done this before, but Jeremy and Rob have. They've been doing it for 20 years and they've been doing it in this manner. So when I went to them and said, do you manage to make it wash its face? They said, yeah, we do. It is incredibly hard to find people who are not only good farmers and members of the community, but see the soil the same way one might do as a landowner. Jeremy and Rob have got all those qualities. They're a complete godsend. Already over September, we've had huge rains, and it gives me joy to go out into the fields and basically see them begin to be soaked up.
But our understanding of what happens in the soil is also developing and growing the whole time. And so we want to look after it well so that in 200 years' time, our families or whoever farms it after us have that opportunity to farm something which is equally as good then as it is now.
Next time, join us as Jeremy's cattle chew through their own data feed and Rob faces a heartbreaking decision about his flock's future.